This video will talk about how and why you should upgrade your old A+ content to a new premium version of A+ content, and how with the help of that you can stay ahead of the competition, like ahead of the competition, such a popular phrase, and I hope it will help you for you today. And this video is part of Seller Fest online virtual event, which is sponsored by two companies. The first one is VA Academy. They are specializing in providing virtual assistants for Amazon businesses. So if you need help with listing optimization, PPC management, or whatever comes up problematic and challenging in your business, contact VA Academy and they will provide you with virtual assistants, part-time, full-time, whatever you want. And Getida is helping with Amazon FBA reimbursements. They maximize those. No matter how big or small you are in your Amazon business, they will help you to get more money from Amazon. And both links of VA and Getida you will find below in the description. And now let's invite LISETT. I will be hosting session with her. Hi, LISETT.
Hi, Augustas. Happy to be here with you, and also very excited to welcome Chris, who is our next guest. And Chris will present about premium A+ content, which is kind of new thing for Amazon sellers. So we're really happy you're covering it for us. Before we start, could you first introduce yourself and also let us know what you do in the Amazon space?
Yes, totally, dude. I'm Chris, the guy with the long hair in the Amazon space. I help sellers to boost traffic and conversion through PPC management, product launches, and conversion optimization. Yeah, I'm here to school you guys on premium EBC, the new hot thing on the street in Amazon that nobody's doing yet, or very few people are doing yet. And as Augustus said in the very cheesy saying of, "We'll help you get an edge on Amazon.com."
You nailed it, man. All right.
Very good.
Very good, very good, very good. And this session is for you guys. If you like it, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And while Chris is sharing his screen, I want to remind that if you have any questions about A+ content and whatever you will hear on the slides very soon, type them in and we will answer them.
Cool. All right, guys. Yeah, welcome. Thanks for tuning in to my Seller Fest session. I'm honored. This is going to be a really dense one. I'm going to jam through a lot of content, and I'm going to do it pretty quickly and not do any fillers that you guys are used to from some of these webinars. It's Augustus style. That's how he likes it. Well, cool. So yeah, I'm going to go pretty fast, give you guys some dense content. It's going to go quick. So just put your phone upside down, close your Chrome tabs, because you could blink and miss it. Everything builds on one another, so you can't miss one link in the chain. So pay attention, and this is going to be an epic session. So let's jump right in right now. Cool. So we're talking about premium A+ content. Premium A+ content is the same as A+ content, goes in the same place. It's the same concept, that it's like infographic style enhanced media for your Amazon listing. This is where it goes. So I did a print screen of an Amazon listing hard scroll, which you could see here. And this is where the A+ content actually starts. And this is where the premium A+ content also starts. It starts right after the brand story module, if you guys have that. And the reason it's really, really important, actually as important, if not more important than the images, is because it shows up after the secondary image scroll. And we're talking mobile here, by the way. Which means, paradoxically, that shoppers see it first. Because if you've ever seen someone shop on Amazon, what do? Say it out loud with me. They scroll down to the reviews first. Even you do it. Even if you're not conscious of it, that's what you do. You go to a listing, you really skip the whole listing. In reality, you're not even viewing any of the listing. You're scrolling down to the reviews, checking out what real humans have to say about the product, and then you scroll back up from the reviews. So most shoppers actually see the EBC first before any of the other content, because they skip it and they see the listing from the bottom up. So that's why it's so important. And that's why this is so exciting, dude. This premium A plus content is literally a new way for us to communicate in the most important way with the shoppers, in the way that they like to be communicated with, which is visually. It's because we all know now shoppers don't read words on Amazon. If you still think shoppers are reading the words on your listing in 2022 and 2023, you're dead wrong. No one's reading any of the words on your listing. They might catch a word here or there, but the main thing that they're seeing is images, and the main words that they're reading are just the words on the images. They're not reading any of the text, or very, very little of it. So with that said, now that you know how important it is, let's get into what it actually is. So the premium A plus content goes the same place regular A plus content goes. It's 7 modules, just like regular A plus content. Yeah, that's right. For those of you guys that thought there was only 5 modules in regular A plus content, because that's what Amazon says, it's actually not true. You still can put 7 modules in regular A plus content, even though it says 5. And it doesn't hurt you at all. I've never seen any seller dinged for this. We still use inside Sophie Society the 7 module formula that we actually teach with Augustas. You guys can Google it. That's another Orange Klik video. Even though Amazon said they reduced it to 5, they never actually did. They never enforced it. So that's an open secret. So Amazon claims that premium A plus content gets you 2 extra modules. Actually, it doesn't. It's the same. You just never knew that you had 5 in the first place. It does give you brand new modules that the old A plus content doesn't give you. And that is the cool part about it. It's some of these modules are really, really cool, and they show up much better on mobile. That was one of the main themes of premium A plus content, is that Amazon made it for mobile, but it also looks better on desktop as well. It's better all around. Starts after the brand story module. We're going to get into that in a second. And yeah, here's how. So I cut it up. This is the same listing scroll that I did before, but since that was like so small, it was too small to read. This is how a typical listing is cut up that has premium A plus content. You can see that's how far down it is, right after the brand story module, which is that girl's face right there is their brand story module. Very clever, by the way, having the background be a striking image, because you don't see the first card in brand story. You see the background. So these guys got it right. These guys know what they're doing. All right. How do you get it? A lot of you guys don't have access to this yet. And you may have written it off because you thought that you didn't have access to it, or wouldn't for a long time. But that's not necessarily true, even if you're a small seller. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Just listen up. So you need brand registry. Just like brand story and just like A plus content, you need to be brand registered. And here's the kicker. You need to have 15 A plus content applications approved, regular A plus content applications approved. Sorry, excuse me. So most people interpret that as you need to have 15 ASINs, because how do you have 15 A plus contents if you don't have 15 ASINs? Well, the trick is in the actual specific wording here. You actually don't need 15 ASINs. What you need is 15 A plus content applications approved. So you can have multiple A plus applications approved for one listing. So you can actually hack this. You could theoretically get this with a single listing, although it'd be hard and it'd take a long time. But if you have a couple products, you can actually get access to premium A plus content, even though you're not a huge seller with hundreds of SKUs, which is what it was originally made for. So this, for those of you guys that don't know the history behind this, this is huge. This used to be a feature that was only available to sellers that would have to pay $250,000 to access it. $250,000. The only brands that had this loaded on their listings, we're actually going to see some later, before this summer, which it just happened, I think it was 3 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, were brands that were gigantic, like Bose, and they paid $250,000 just for the honor of being able to upload this type of content. And now anyone theoretically can access it. You might not think that you can, but you actually can. Then I'm going to tell you guys how. So The other requirement for you to get access to this is you have to have brand story modules loaded on all of your listings. So even if one listing doesn't have a brand story module, you are not applicable for it. But this one, dude, if this one holds any of you guys back, you're straight up. If that's a blocker that's going to block you, you need to work on your determination if you're going to make it as an entrepreneur, because that is so easy. Anybody can upload brand story content. It's so simple. It's literally just cards and a background image. Anybody can do it. You can do it. Do not use that as an excuse. I don't accept it. Okay? I don't. So these are the 3 things that you need in order to get premium A+ content. If you're clever, if you're determined, if you have grit, you can do it. You can access it. Like I said, you don't need 15 ASINs like everyone says. You need 15 A+ applications approved. So you can hack this. There are ways that you can get it. So here's a scroll. Here's a listing scroll. You see, this is where the brand content, the brand story module is. That's how far down it is. And the premium A+ content starts right after that. Availability. So this is what just happened. And the wording is really key here. A+ content, premium A+ content became available to all sellers who meet that criteria I mentioned earlier, August 2022. If you qualify with those 3 requirements that I mentioned earlier. And Amazon released this information as though they would rescind the access. So it's kind of like, I mean, I'm honestly shocked that there aren't more sellers scrambling to get access to this before Amazon pulls it back. Because if you look at the wording, I think I actually have it in the next slide here. Yeah. So if you look at the wording, okay, yeah, this isn't the part where it says it, but what it really says is that this is a promotional period, and Amazon can start charging for it again or rescind your right to upload more premium A+ content. So literally, while you can see, okay, so it is here, at no cost for an extended promotional period. They never said how long that period is. So basically, they're saying, hey, we're opening the doors for a limited time for people to upload this awesome, epic, enhanced media content that can help you sell 20% more sales, and we're going to rescind it at any time. Dude, like, if you're not a seller that's clamoring for that while you can, and taking advantage of what other brands would have had to pay $250,000 for, you're crazy. You're crazy not to aggressively attack this. So yeah, let me go back. Some of the benefits here. The images are way higher resolution and they take up way more space. So on the left, you see here regular A+ content. That's what it looks like on a desktop screen. On the right is a screenshot of the exact same desktop with premium A+ content. Look at the difference in how much of the screen it takes up. It's massive. It literally, and this is on desktop. There are a lot of cool things on mobile. I'm going to show you some of them later. But it's literally like the difference between it hitting you in the face and it just being like a regular website. It takes up the entire screen. It's epic. Amazon claims that implementing premium A+ content will increase your sales, can increase your sales by 20%. How did they get that number? I mean, let's be honest. They pulled it out of their butts. I'm positive that there's no proof behind that, and not to rip on Amazon, but we all love to do it. But I'm sure this is going to vary seller by seller. But I can tell you from experience of uploading hundreds upon hundreds of A+ content, regular A+ content, that it actually can increase your sales by a relative anywhere between 5 and 100%. I know that sounds crazy, but if your conversion rate goes from 12 to 24, you actually just got 100% more sales, because even though that's a 12% absolute increase in conversion rate points, you are getting now double the sales for every given amount of sessions than you were before. So you actually increase your sales by 100%. And that does happen. When people go from no A+ content at all to excellent A+ content in certain categories, it can have a dramatic impact. Sometimes it has a smaller impact. Very rarely does it have no impact at all. But I can say from my experience that I think this number is realistic, that you can increase your sales by about 20% by having enhanced content added to your listing in a significant way like this. It's consistent with what we see in Sophie and what I've seen personally. And yeah, you can see the word, you can see the exact wording here. You have published A+ brand story across your ASIN catalog. So all ASINs have brand story and have at least 15 A+ content projects approved in the last 12 months. So it never anywhere does it say that you need 15 ASINs. That's what everyone's saying in the industry. It's not true. Okay. All right, yeah. And this is just to show you their wording. No cost during this promotional period. No one knows what that period entails. Hey, thanks, Amazon. Once again, your blurry lines are leaving us guessing. Cool. All right, so this is what regular A+ content should look like. Logo, hero image, 4-panel module with lifestyle images and a story, 4-panel with icons, not lifestyle images, that show features, a banner image that has a breakout or instructionals or inclusions or an X factor, and then another banner image that has a different one of these, and then the product carousel that cross-sells products. That's regular A+ content. Now let's go into, and a lot of you guys have seen my presentation on this. I've done a lot of content about A+ content because we specialize in creating that for brands. Now let's get into what's new, what's cool, what's special. But first, let's check out what A+ content, normal A+ content looks like. Okay, so you have a reference point. Now we're gonna do this first. Then we're gonna look at some examples of premium A+ content. So here is A+ content that we recently produced for a brand that came to us, said, hey, we need new A+ content. Or actually, I don't think they had any. We need A+ content. And so we created this for them. This follows the formula that I just mentioned to you. You can see at the top is the logo, then a striking hero image that highlights the product, then the 4-panel lifestyle with the ideal customer avatar. Then you have the features represented by beautiful icons, and then you have 2 banners that have either breakout, inclusions, features, or an X factor. And at the very end, that's where you have the product carousel. Okay. Now we have a baseline. We're all thinking from the same thing. This is what everyone already has access to that has brand registry. Now, once you hack your way to access to premium A+ content, let's talk about what new stuff on top of this you have access to. So you still have access to that old stuff, but the new stuff includes ding, 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 video. Yeah, dude, video. You can now put video in your A+ content. This is crazy. I've never seen this on any listings except, like I said before, Bose. Like huge brands have been able to have videos in their enhanced content. Or I think it was available to Launchpad sellers, which means that's the Amazon's program for like brand new innovative projects like Kickstarter projects. This is nuts. We're going to look at some examples of how this works. There are some glitches to it. I think it's not perfect. And I'm going to show you guys why, so you can make your own decision about this. But still, it's completely groundbreaking. Totally awesome. All right. Next is, so here's one of the main themes about premium A+ content. And we're going to look at a bunch of examples. Don't worry. This isn't a bunch of text slides. I hate text slides. We have a lot of interactive content with premium A+. A lot of not just receiving as the shopper, but giving, interacting, clicking, sliding, tapping, swiping. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And the reason that's important is psychological, because when someone is passively sitting back and just receiving information from your listing, it's a one-way relationship. It doesn't feel like there's any reciprocation. When they start to interact with your listing, now it's a two-way relationship. Now there's a conversation going on between their fingers, their minds, and your listing. You're prompting them with something. Ooh, look at this thumbnail of this video. Do you want to tap and check out what it is? Seems pretty clickbaity. Or, whoa, look at this first image. It looks like there's a peep of a next one. Should I swipe and see what it is? It creates this story that's ever evolving that the shopper and your listing are both co-creating together. And this is why it can have a dramatic impact on conversion. The interactive hover over hotspot. So this module, we're going to look at some examples of it. This is a really cool module where you mouse over some of the some points on a high resolution image that then pop up information about those points as the mouse hovers over. If it's on mobile, it's instead of hover over, it's a different type of scroller that shows different angles, and I'll show you what it looks like on both. And a new comparison table like feature, different than the old comparison table. But it's a few key differences. And then there's a Q&A module. So this is similar to the Q&A that shows up on your listing that random people ask, but instead of that, you ask the questions. This one has a very powerful effect that can increase your review rating, and I'll tell you exactly how to use it in a couple minutes. Okay. Now let's take a look. Let's start with the video module. Now I'm going to show you guys an example of this, and I'm going to, throughout this presentation, show you mobile first. And the reason is because nearly 4 out of 5 sessions on Amazon.com are mobile. Yeah, 4 out of 5. That's 80%. I think it's just shy of 80%, somewhere between 75 and 80% of sessions on Amazon are mobile. So if you're still designing on desktop and making it all perfect and beautiful on desktop and then checking mobile to make sure it's chill, hey, dude, you got it backwards. The way to do it is to design for mobile and then check on desktop to make sure it still looks good. Literally. I know that might sound crazy to some of you guys. Mobile is really all that matters, and desktop is like, yeah, let's make sure it still looks good on desktop too, but really we're designing for mobile. That's how you should be thinking of this. That's why I'm going to be showing you guys mobile examples first, and then I'll be sharing desktop examples subsequently. So check this out. All right. So I go to this listing. This is the Bose listing that I was telling you about before. These guys have had it for a while, since before it was available to you. They paid $250,000 for it. Okay. Just for context. Now here's where it starts. So you see very similar regular listing. Now a video pops up. When I click it, it actually blacks out the whole screen. And now I'm seeing the video and nothing else. In my opinion, this isn't the best customer experience, because when I hit back, this is what happens. It takes me back to the listing. And now I scroll down and I get back to the Premium A+ content. And the video now somehow is playing in the content without a blacked out theater screen. So it's kind of clunky still. This is the only module that I'm not super impressed with. I still think it's very powerful if you're video heavy and you have good videos. It's still super duper powerful, and I still would recommend using it if you have great video content, but I wouldn't kill for it right now because of the awkwardness of the mobile experience. And we're not going to in my team. We're not going to place a huge emphasis on demanding that this be in every EBC because of that. But if you are video heavy and you have great video content, then it's still worth it. Still absolutely worth it. And here's what it looks like on desktop. So on desktop, it's actually a much, much better, much smoother experience. But like I said, who cares? It's 1 out of 5 sessions happening. So really mobile is all that matters. But you can see when you click in desktop, it plays right in the screen. You can scroll up, scroll down, it keeps playing. It's a much better, much smoother experience. It's very unfortunate that on mobile, Amazon hasn't gotten it figured out. But I'm sure they will. This is just a rocky start. So there you go. That's how it looks on desktop. Now let's move to the next exciting new type of content in Premium A+ content, which is the image carousel slider with selector. How this works is So again, this is what I mentioned in the beginning, that now you're starting to see it manifest. So one of the primary things Amazon wanted as a goal for premium A plus content is mobile adaptability. Everyone was designing all of this A plus content on their desktop with Amazon's desktop builder and had no idea what it would look like on mobile. And a lot of times it looked really bad. There's certain modules, like the image selector in the normal A plus content, we don't use it. We don't use the normal A plus content interactive image selector module because of how bad it was on mobile. It left a huge amount of white space. It was really small images. The text showed up in an awkward spot. It was weird. Amazon has fixed this by basically making a mobile version of every single new content module. And the way this works is you can either swipe with your thumb, like I'm doing now, or you can tap the title of the image that you want to see, like I'm now doing, jumping back and forth, jumping up and down. And you can do that very, very quickly. And this is a cool way to do it, a cool way to use it, because you could see this brand, for example, Orgain, is actually using it. This is an Amazon brand, I believe, is actually using this for showing different recipes that you can use it with. So there's so many ways to creatively use these modules, because now I can go down and I can click the recipe that's interesting to me. So it's not just features, it's not just benefits. You can use this for all sorts of really creative stuff. And here's what it looks like on desktop. So the interesting thing is here, Amazon opted to allow you to include text content on desktop that actually disappears on mobile because there's just no space for it. And that's the right decision. Before, the problem that A plus content had was that what all Amazon did was reorder things and messily cram it all in, all the text, all the images. Now it actually changes the format and even the delivery and hides certain things when it's transferred to mobile to make it more of a user-friendly experience. And it's great and it works. So I can see the actual recipe itself all written out and laid out with directions and ingredients on desktop. But on mobile, it's just not appropriate to take up that much space with 5 different recipes. So instead, I see the recipe name, the name of the dish, and I see a picture of it. So I still get the idea, but I get the appropriate experience for the mobile version, and I get the appropriate experience for the desktop version. It just makes sense. All right. Now let's talk over the interactive hover over hotspot module. This is one of the coolest ones. This is so cool, and the reason is because you can cram in a lot of information into a small space in a way that's interesting to your shoppers, to your ideal customer avatars. And the reason this is so exciting is because remember in the beginning how I said shoppers don't read words anymore? Shoppers don't read your listing anymore. Back in the day in like 2015, that's when I started selling on Amazon, the beginning of 2015, all there was words. There was words and a couple low res images, but the whole listing was a bunch of words. The internet has evolved enormously since then. Nobody reads words on the internet in general. No one's on Facebook. They're on TikTok. They're on Instagram. They're watching videos. They're looking at pictures. That's what the internet is. It's a bunch of media. Nobody's going on the internet and reading words. So, and they're certainly not going on Amazon and reading words. So the game now has become, how do I better communicate the most important things about my listing in the most visual way, in the most compact visual way? So I could take up the space with high bandwidth communication flows. And that's what this is. This module is super high bandwidth communication flows because it's a selector. Now I can allow the consumer to choose, interact, and say, what's most interesting to you? Hover over that to find out more about it. So you're literally speaking, you can speak directly to someone's needs without bombarding them with information that's unrelevant to them. Now you can give them just what's relevant to specifically them while still having the same listing for someone else and giving a different message to them. It's straight up magic. This is really, really, really exciting. People are not getting how important and how cool this is. So this is what it looks like on desktop. I loved the way visually this brand used this image selector. They used it to highlight the different steps in their routine, which is cool because it's a brand that's a whole line and you need multiple different products to make it work well. At least that's what they say, so they can sell their products. So it's a good way to use it. There are a lot of different ways to use this. You don't have to use it to highlight different products or different products in the line. But I didn't like what they showed when it actually popped up. To me, it didn't really sell it very much. It doesn't really say the benefit of it. All it did was kind of give you instructions on where it goes on your body or something. I thought that could have been done better, but visually it's great. Very creative way to use this module. Now let's look at what it looks like on mobile. So here's what the mobile experience looks like. You can see it's swiping. This is the swipe function. So on mobile, you have to move your thumb to the side, just like on Instagram when you hit a post with multiple pictures and you're swiping to the side to see each one. And you have a little selector down there with a orange highlight in the circle of the picture that you're at. So it shows you how many pictures there are and which picture you're on, which is a very familiar experience to all mobile internet users, so all of us. And instead of hovering over and selecting, you swipe and the text goes below the image and you just choose which images you want to show here. Okay, so this is a really, really cool module, really great way to speak directly to consumers and their specific needs. All right, now let's talk through the new comparison table. So this is different than the old comparison table. Is it better or worse? It's different. So it's still little mini listings that you can use to sell your other products. That's the cool thing. The biggest difference is the way it shows up on mobile. So before, what would happen is on mobile, it basically looked exactly the same, but it just showed up in a way that what allowed you to like scroll to the right to see the listings that weren't being viewed. Now it actually has a mobile dedicated interface. And it's pretty interesting. And there are a lot of ways to use the mobile interface. I'm going to show you guys in a second. So this is what it looked like on desktop. Pretty similar. You have fields on the in the columns here or in the rows, and then the actual values of those fields in the cells. And then the top row is the actual product image itself, and you can click them and it goes to the listing, right? Well, this is what it looks like on mobile. It actually allows you to choose what category of information you want to compare with the different products in your comparison table. Now, the way that Orgain used this, I didn't think was very interesting. They have suggested use, protein per serving, flavors, amount of sugar. It provides information, but to me, it's not very creative. A better way to use this is to creatively think about what you want your customer to use as comparison, and what you want to use comparison as an excuse to do. What do you want to interact with them through? So, for instance, we have a brand that we manage that sells toy products for kids, and they are different characters. So you could show what the character's personality is, and then you're actually selling while providing more information, because now you could see, oh, this one's shy, this one is aggressive, this one's sad, whatever. And there are a lot of really, really cool ways to use this module. And it's, again, a very interactive way for the mobile consumers to check out your other products. All right, now let's go through the Q&A module. I mentioned before, or alluded to the fact before, that you can use this module to increase your review rating. And the way you use this module to increase your review rating is by putting in the questions that tackle the objections that customers usually have to the product once they receive it, or the misunderstandings or wrong expectations they had about the product. And this can have a dramatic impact on your negative review rate. So if you say, hey, you have a question that says, how long does this cream take to take effect for my dry skin? And you say, the cream takes a minimum of 7 to 12 days to eliminate your dry skin. So now you're not going to get people in the reviews saying, I used it for 4 days and nothing happened, because you handled that in the Q&A section. And it was a major question and a major concern that usually causes you bad reviews. So the way to use this module is look through your negative reviews, or if it's a new product, look through the negative reviews of some of the top selling competitors on page 1 for the primary keywords. Find out what everyone is complaining about and what all of the negative things are that come in as reviews for the listing, and then tackle them one by one in the Q&A section. And that way, the negative reviews never come in the first place. And the total percentage of new reviews that are positive goes up, sometimes dramatically, leaving you with a higher review rating that gets higher and higher over time. That's the main way to use this module, is to keep negative reviews from happening. Here's what it looks like on mobile. It's a tap to expand paradigm. So each one that you tap, it's the question, and then tapping and expands it. So you can see every one of these new modules is interactive. It makes your listing a conversation with the shopper. So basic A+ 4-panel module versus premium A+ 4-panel module. Now, this isn't something new. It's the same module as before, but in premium, it's dynamic. So I didn't include this in the new list, but I'm going to show you what's different about it. Here's the basic A+ 4-panel module. Looks like this. This is the listing that I showed you before that we just did. I think it was last week or the week before. And I think it's great for premium, for regular A+ content. And this is what it looks like on mobile. Okay, so it reorders it. It leaves a lot of white space. And you can see this versus this. The total amount of space taken up by text and white space here versus here, compared to the total amount of space taken up by the images, is worse on mobile instead of better, which is not good, especially since mobile users in particular are really looking for visuals to communicate, not text. So it's not the best mobile experience for Amazon to just reorder these modules, leave the text as it is, for some reason have the images get smaller with this big margin on the sides, but for some reason let the text go all the way out. So the text takes up all this space. It doesn't make any sense. And it's not a graceful mobile experience. Now let's look at the premium A+ 4-panel module. This is what it looks like on desktop. A little more elegant with the bold text at the very beginning, and then the supporting text underneath it. But yeah, very similar. It also has a title, as you could see, the module itself. Now let's look at what it does dynamically on desktop. Looks like this. Way more elegant. So now it shows up in a way where the visuals are still taking up a lot of space. I can see and compare the different modules all at one time. I have bold title text that's a different font size than the rest of the text to just give me the main concept, main idea on my mobile. And I don't have to scroll up and down different places to compare these 4 modules that are supposed to be related. In this case, they're using it to highlight different of the products in the line. That is a basic overview of all the new stuff. If you are trying to do this on your own and you are absolutely determined to get access to it, there's a great resource called Free Pick. It allows you to get stock imagery. Just remember, the one thing I would like you guys to take away from this is that the image, the visual component, is the most important part, and not by like 60-40. It's not like, oh, 60% visuals, 40% text. I'm talking 95-5, 98-2. It's like dramatically more important is the visual part. You could literally sell a listing with no text at all, just visuals and some text on the visuals, way easier than you could sell a listing with a bunch of text and no visuals at all. Nobody would buy that. So it's more important now than ever. So if you don't have enough raw imagery from your own photo shoots and your own media generation, you can use stock in a very elegant way. This has a bad rap. People don't like to admit that stock is actually a great resource because they're used to seeing, you know, some random Chinese factory, like bad photoshopped images, and then it gets a bad rap. But Photoshop can actually be done in a very elegant, very useful, very clean way where you can't even tell that it's photoshopped and that it's stock. So free pick is great. You can literally type in anything in here. You can type in like old Asian lady sweeping a bedroom floor, and you could find stuff like that. So yeah, you can find scenes, your customer avatar. There are lots of ways to add visuals to your EBC, even if you don't have the lifestyle imagery. And yeah, this is what it looks like. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that content, and I hope you guys all get after it. Go out there and get after the premium A+. Like Amazon themselves said, if you want a 20% increase in sales, it's mind-boggling to me how many people focus on just obsessively getting more traffic to their listing, just obsessively trying to get their PPC dialed in so they get more and more traffic, drive more traffic, and they're paying out the nose for it, when you could literally permanently do one thing that permanently increases your sales by 20% forever without you adjusting bids and budgets and trying to hack this and rank that and do rebates or whatever you're doing. That's your Amazon hack. This is something that you can do that instead of adding nitrous to your car every single time you gas up, you're literally installing a new faster engine once and your car's faster forever, while the other guy is still putting nitrous in his car every single time he fuels up and paying out the nose for it. It's mind-boggling to me. So do it. Those of you out there that are actual action takers, I know you will. You guys are my people, the ones that are actually going to do it. We have the same blood. I respect you. If you want to continue your relationship with me, just scan this. This is just my Instagram. I'm a real person. You can message me. And you can message me or my team at hello@sophiesociety.com. This is the email down here. So you just write that down. It's hello@sophiesociety, Sophie with an IE society.com. So yeah, take out your phone, scan this QR code, be my friend. If you can't scan it, then my handle is on here too, Hippie Mogul. And if you absolutely don't use that, then you can email me. Let's keep this going. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Chris. No, not bye-bye. So where are we at? So if you enjoyed the content, everyone, please don't forget to, Chris, like and subscribe.
Yes, like
Chris,
and subscribe.
Did you like the video we are broadcasting right now? No. So we start with good examples. While Chris is searching for the YouTube video and liking this video, I wanted to mention that if...
I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now.
Perfect. Our monitoring camera in your room is broadcasting that, yes, you did a like. Now we have 11 likes, and it was 10. So let's move to the VIP package. So this event or this session is part of SellerFest Online Virtual Summit. And we asked 20 Amazon experts from this event to deliver additional video, which is which will not be published anywhere publicly. But if you want to get access to those videos, you need to invest a little bit into what we call VP package. And here you will find exclusive videos recorded just for this package from all the speakers, Stephen Poe, Brian Johnson, Destiny, copywriters, virtual assistant specialists. And you will learn how to increase your conversion rates through managing better the PPC by improving storefronts, for example. And Chris, what did you share in your session?
Mine is actually a way to now use this higher conversion once you get this A+ content loaded up, which is by getting really, really low ACoS traffic to your listing. So I've never taught this before externally. This is actually a really exciting one. If I was you guys, I would opt in for it. If you implement it, it will pay for the whole VIP package for itself. Okay. Now, I know that's a bold claim, and I'll tell you why. The reason is this is so this is going to sound silly, but listen to me. You can use the strategies that I teach in my VIP package to get low volume, low revenue, low ACOS, additional revenue streams to your products. So it's not going to double your sales, but it is going to increase your traffic by 10, 15, 20, 25% at really, really cheap ACOS. I'm talking 15% ACOS, 10% ACOS, down to 5% ACOS. And there's a good reason for it. You're going to have to opt in to the package if you want to find out why, but there's a really, really good reason for it. And it's a type of advertising allowed on the rest of the internet, but hasn't really been available to Amazon sellers, at least not in the way that I share in my session. The only other place I've ever shared this to is the insiders to our Sophie PPC challenge, which we did a couple months ago. We're going to do another one in a couple months as well, if you guys missed that. But yeah, so this is really, really valuable. Like I said, I'm not promising that it's going to like dramatically increase your traffic, but it's going to increase your traffic by 10, 15, 20% at a really, really cheap rate. So it's basically just adding free margin to your products. So I can tell you that if you have products that are selling, and I guarantee you haven't implemented all the strategies that I go through in my VIP video, and if you do implement them, it will pay for the price of the VIP package in and of itself, just that one video.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And the link you will find, of course, below in the description, and you saw it on the screen. So now let's move on to the Q&A, and we need a woman voice over for that.
Yeah, sure. Let's take the first question for Chris. So how can I get access if I only sell one product? I just edit my A+ content for 15 times. So if you can just go over how sellers can access it if they just sell a couple of products.
Yeah, a couple products is easier than just one, because the thing is each A+ content application can take up to 3, even 4 weeks to get approved. So if you're doing that 15 times, that could literally take many months. But even if you have just 2 products or 3, I mean, you can do it with one. But yeah, that you basically hit the nail on the head. You have to continuously send in applications for A+ content modules and have them approved. So yeah, it's definitely arduous. It's possible. But one is tougher. Two is a good threshold, and if you have more than that, then you should be able to do it quite easily. But it's the number of applications approved. So you just submit them, approve them, and then if you don't automatically get it once you've done that and uploaded all of the brand stories to all of your listings, then just create a support ticket with the seller support team and let them know that you have all the requirements, but you're not seeing it in your Seller Central.
Okay. And you mentioned the approval process. So there's a question about how long does it usually take to get the approval from Amazon? And maybe I would ask, like, if you could compare the regular A+ content with the premium, do you see any difference?
No, I mean, Amazon's pretty unpredictable with that, actually. Sometimes A+ content can be approved in like a day, but sometimes it'll take like weeks, sometimes up to like 3-4 weeks. It's normally not going to take you like 3-4 weeks. It's normally going to be days or maybe a week or 2, but sometimes it's unpredictable. It's weird.
All right. So we have another question for you. So what is the difference between A+ and brand store page? So I'm not sure if the person perhaps meant brand story instead, but maybe you can go over all 3, also the storefront.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go over all 3. So the A+ content is something that shows up on your listing. The brand story module also shows up on your listing before the A+ content. And then there's the brand store, which is not on your listing. That is the only way to get to that is either through coming onto it from an external search engine or by clicking the store name underneath the title of the listing. And that brings someone to basically a website inside Amazon that shows your brand and all of your products. So the brand story module, how it differs from A+ content is that it's more about the brand than it is about the product. It's meant to tell a story about the brand, how it was founded, who the founders are, what the values are, what other products the brand sells. There are all kinds of ways to use the brand story module, who the founder and like what their origin story is. And you can put up to, I think, 16 or 17 cards in the brand story section, and you swipe the cards to see the different content, and it's basically just one module. The A+ content is 7 different modules. It's basically a whole infographic, and every one of them can be interactive. So that's the main difference with that. And then the main difference with the brand store is that the brand store is a storefront, just like a Shopify page that shows you all different things about your brand, all of your other products. And there's a ton of different modules you can use, because it's not an interactive infographic about the product. It's more like a storefront showcasing the brand and all of the products that the brand sells.
All right. So can I bring over the existing modules from basic A+ content to the new version?
Yeah, you just have to make sure that the visuals have a high enough resolution to take up the space on the new image modules. Because like I was sharing in the beginning, the images actually, you can upload higher res images. And if you do, they take up the entire screen. So you can pretty much all the content that you have on your regular A+ content can be adapted for premium. You just have to ensure that the resolution is high enough and that the format works well on mobile. Because you might have images, for instance, in the 4-panel that showed up big enough to read words on them on mobile because it stacks it. But the 4-panel on premium A+ content, where it actually arranges it into a square, the images themselves are too small for you to read text on it, so they're not appropriate anymore. So the main thing is just to cross-reference how the content looks on mobile before you just port it all over.
Thank you for that. So another question from our viewers. So do you use the same A+ content on all similar products?
You can reuse part of it, but it's not a good idea to use the exact same A+ content, because then you're not using any of the A+ content to sell the product itself. So the A+ content has 2 main goals: sell the product and sell the brand. So if you're doing the exact same A+ content on all of the listings, you're only accomplishing one of those goals, because you can't sell the product itself. You're only selling the brand.
Thank you very much. So Chris, although today's presentation is about A+ content and premium A+ content, we actually did receive one question about PPC, and the viewer really asked to ask your opinion about that. So let's address that one, because probably he is a big fan of you. So I have a question about PPC. When we try to test and discover keywords to maximize sales, up to how many profitable keywords should I find to decide for sure I have maximized sales for the product?
Okay, that's a good question. It's like, where do I stop? So the main threshold for this is search volume. So you should find as many profitable keywords as are available that you can possibly test through your keyword research and through continuously checking and reviewing the insights from your search term reports from your PPC, until you've reached a low enough search volume for it to not make sense. So you're not going to be targeting words that have like less than like 100 searches a month. Maybe you won't even do less than 200. Maybe you won't even do less than 500. I mean, once you get to 500, that's significant. You definitely won't be doing, search terms that get like a couple searches a month, because then you're wasting your time optimizing campaigns for keywords that just don't make sense for you to even spend your time on. The most important thing that PPC does is contribute to your rank. So you really want to focus a lot of your effort on that, your primary keywords, optimizing for the top of search so you can rank more. So the question is, where do I stop? And where do I stop keyword research And the answer is once you get to a low enough search volume for it to not make sense anymore. And then you've got a bulk amount of keywords. When you're just launching a new product, it's gonna be something like between 40 and 200. I know that's a crazy range, but it depends on the product. Usually I'd say it's around 80 that you're really focusing on, but you're going to choose 5 that are the most important primary ones and do single keyword campaigns for each of those. Then the other ones that are more mid-tail, long-tail keywords, the rest of the 80 or whatever, you group them by semantic core or buyer intent, meaning these are all the keywords for this avatar. These are all the keywords for this use case. These are all the keywords for this color. So that's how you want to think about it.
All right,
Cool.
great. Thank you very much, Chris. And I think that's it. It was a great session. If everybody who listened and watched this video, you enjoyed, don't forget to click like. And Chris, one more time, how Sophie Society helps all the Amazon sellers.
We are the guys who stay at the very forefront of what works on Amazon, specifically with PPC. I think I mentioned before, we actually host a PPC event. We're now doing it 4 times a year. It's called the PPC Challenge. And we just get the best of the best PPC managers in the world and bring them into our team so that they could be around other great people and work on great accounts. So yeah, I come from a science background. I have a physics degree. I brought that science and experimental mindset into this company. We really care about what we do. We care about the brands that we work with. We treat each and every one of them like it's our own company. And we are application only, but if there are brands out there that are looking for professional PPC management, I would go with me if I was a brand. So there's that. And then we do conversion services. We create this A+ content that I've just been teaching about. That's one of the main things we do is create A+ content. We create brand story modules. We create image sets for brands and help them convert better.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And if you really think Chris delivers good value and you still have questions, type them in the comment section. Also share in the comment section if you have other ideas what Chris can share with us here on the channel. So thank you very much, Chris, and good luck in your business. Bye-bye. And
thanks,
bye,
guys. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
And now I would like to invite you to watch another video with Chris Rawlings, where he shares a secret PPC Amazon advertising hack, which will help you to increase the conversions. This video at this time, I'm telling you, has already 800 views. Watch it.